Hello everyone, my name is Agent Paul of Mobile Task Force Delta 7, codename Bookkeepers, and welcome back to another SCP document review. And the SCP we will be reviewing today is SCP-8040, Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-8040 is to be kept within a standard storage unit for low-risk anomalous items. Tests regarding SCP-8040 should be requested in advance to obtain written approvals, then log in detail within this documentation. Because of its fragile nature, SCP-8040 must be handled with adequate discretion to prevent damage or demolishment. Description: SCP-8040 is a white mug made of typical ceramics with a thin glaze, which is approximately 10 centimeters in height and 8 centimeters in diameter, and has an oval handle able to be gripped with ease. It was first recovered from a civilian's possession secondhand, who claimed to have purchased SCP-8040 from a local retail store, afterwards spotted its unusual water leakage when used, and hence sold it online as titled a divination cup. Upon retrieval, a sticker was found on one side of SCP-8040 with simple graphic instructions depicting a way of its usage, shown as a step-by-step guide to fill SCP-8040 with water. Then use a teaspoon to scoop a sip of water out of it onto flat surfaces to observe the shape of the spill. 4 different instances were illustrated on it, indicating how the user could interpret the results as auguries for anything they wish to query. We have a single droplet, success. 2 droplets, failure. An irregular shape, out of expectation. The 4th illustration is you will drop your spoon. Please ask again. When SCP-8040 is filled with water or some type of other liquids, see Experiment Log 1 below for further references, and handled by a human subject, who then verbally states an event that will presumably happen in the future, then either scoops the liquid by spoons or directly pours it out from SCP-8040 to a flat surface, example, a tabletop, the liquid spill will morph in shape to fit its shape loosely into the 4 aforementioned categories of the auspices to represent a predicted outcome for the subject's question. The shape varies in a small range, yet is still distinctly identifiable. The result of this process were proved to be relatively accurate. The sticker was later unglued and dropped off from the mug due to repetitive water drench, but this does not seem to affect the anomalous property of SCP-8040. And here we have Experiment Log 1, with a time, procedure, and a result. February 14th, 2021. A coin was placed on the table alongside with SCP-8040, which was half full with potable water. Dr. Alexis Talsite picked up the cup and said, "Will the coin succeed in being heads up?" Then used a metal spoon to scoop water. Right after that, the spoon accidentally fell onto the desk. Dr. Talsite denied mishandling and commented this was weird and repeated the procedure, but this time changed the question to, "Will I succeed in seeing the coins head up?" The water was prudently shed onto the table in a fairly slow motion. At first, the large drip remained as a whole, but then quickly self-splitted into 2 separate drips within 4 seconds, representing the failure result, and finally stopped moving. Dr. Talsite tossed the coin and got its tail up. February 15th, 2021. Researcher Milo Norris filled SCP-8040 with 75% alcohol and put it on a glass table, after drinking a small sip of it through a straw. Norris started the procedure by asking, "Can I be the first one to leave the site today?" Then used the straw to transfer a small amount of alcohol out of SCP-8040 onto the glass tabletop. The bead remained still as a whole droplet for about 1 minute until it slowly vaporized away. Researcher Norris then left and locked the lab, descended to the first floor to the main gate, then came back to the containment chamber after half an hour. She repeated the procedure. This time the droplet began to transpose unstably. Once after it touched the glass table, it shifted around for a dozen of centimeters before it stopped, unresponsive to Norris touching it with the metal straw. Finally, it settled into an irregular shape, denoting the out-of-expectation result, then vaporized at an uncommonly high speed. March 3rd, 2021. Roughly 100 cc's of gasoline was used to fill up SCP-8040 to investigate whether impotable liquids would work on it. Researcher Norris queried, "Can we succeed in facilitating the new AI system to ensure it works well in the upcoming year?" The oil spill was totally inert. After Norris doubted it, she had to prove that she could drink the diesel to trigger its reaction. A versatile carriage powered by a diesel engine was utilized by Dr. Talsite to grasp SCP-8040 and dictate the same request by its mechanical voice. It was still seen to be unresponsive. SCP-8040 was later cleaned up thoroughly. March 31st, 2021. Agent Iris Thompson, see SCP-105 for more information, applied for a test on SCP-8040 and made a cup of coffee using the public coffee machine located in the cafeteria of Site-17. She finished the coffee, left a little, and then spoke up the query. "Will it be possible for me to meet them again anymore?" In a vague tone. A metal spoon was used to scoop some coffee out of SCP-8040. The spill didn't seem to react at first. Since Thompson had placed her phone next to SCP-8040, some bits of coffee accidentally splashed onto the screen and lit the screen up. The larger blob beside it shrank to an apparently irregular shape, while suddenly the virtual typing keyboard on Thompson's phone popped up without being touched at all. The keys were activated by scattered sprinkles of coffee, which were sliding and flowing automatically on the screen. It gradually typed out a sentence by this method, and the message input area read as, "IDK, but maybe on your next mission." No further actions of SCP-8040 were noticed after this. Addendum 8040.1, inspired by the last experiment log above, testing on SCP-8040's potential to interact with electronics was arranged. March 31st, 2021. Agent Holin Wessel used drinkable warm water to try to establish communication with SCP-8040 under the assistance of Dr. Talsite. A tablet computer was placed horizontally on the desk next to SCP-8040 before Wessel introduced the question, "Can all these people in my team complete this task and return in safety?" Water was then intentionally dripped onto the screen. At first, the screen didn't activate. Next, it was manually turned off, and the input keyboard was pinned to its desktop to allow water from SCP-8040 to conduct capacitance on the screen. Most screens detect fingers' touches by constantly monitoring the change in electrical capacitance, which can easily be altered by conductive materials. The water drops stayed silent for a while, then drew near to each other, coalesced and fused into a whole. A single word of "fine" was typed in the text box during this process. Then the water remained on the position of the space button, and then kept inanimate. April 1st, 2021. Dr. Talsite dispensed coffee from a self-made coffee machine situated in his office into SCP-8040. An empty draft of a drawing software, along with an emulated keyboard window, was opened in advance on a touch terminal. He started by asking SCP-8040 the same question researcher Norris brought up but didn't get answered in Log 1, then sprinkled coffee on the screen with a ceramic teaspoon. For reference, the question was, "Can I be the first one to leave the site today?" The liquid drop quickly disappeared into numerous tiny droplets while not generating any text. Dr. Talsite wiped it off and started the test over again, going by another prompt. "Do you believe that AIs need something more than logic and rationality?" This time, the droplet produced by SCP-8040 stayed as a rounded hole, and glided smoothly over the white space of the drawing canvas, leaving a black trace in the perfect shape of a heart. April 3rd, 2021. Dr. Skylar Estinteco dripped purified water from SCP-8040 onto their phone screen after asking, "Will we get better and find the serenity and content of our lives?" The water drop contracted into a radial pattern on the screen, and then typed, "Only if you are here," into the blank memo before it halted and eventually dried out. This one is interesting, and I wonder what would happen if other SCPs were to participate and drop water from this mug. I wonder what answers we would get. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for listening or watching. My name is Agent Paul, Mobile Task Force Delta 7, and I will see you next week with another document review. Bye.